trainer, Scott Lake, has been at Parks for over 3 decades. He knew an office job was never for him.
That's one of the reasons I went to the racetrack, because I didn't want to work in an office and wear a suit and everything. The barn was always for me, and shorts is, I want to live on the beach someday, and if and when I ever retire.
Lake has enjoyed a remarkable career with over 6,000 career wins as a trainer. The story starts with trips to the track with his dad, but his dad took another trip that got him into racing.
For me, when I was a kid, my dad would take us to the races. You're watching this, and you're going, wow, look at these horses, and the jocks, you kind of idolize them. I started out wanting to be a jock, but obviously by the time I was 14, it was over. The dream was over. But someone that just loved being in the barn, and it was just an awesome experience. Well, my dad was a Harrisburg police officer. Loved going to the races at Penn National. Took us, went in the hospital for a surgery. Ended up sharing a room with a guy that moved from New Orleans that just had 6 horses and just moved there, and it was all over after that. He got a horse, and I started working weekends and summers. My dad had horses with a guy named Dave Demestri, Rick Wasserman, kind of worked for them summers, weekends. My first official job working for somebody as a groom was Rich Hoffa, and then a guy named Chester Reedy, and then when I went to work for Bruce Kravitz, kind of ran a shed row, rubbed horses, and learned tons from him. I consider him my father.
To remain near the top of the standings is the goal every year, as Lake has been a fixture on the East Coast.
It's a tough start, but I had a couple guys that knew me for a long time, and they said, look, if you go out on your own and you get a horse, or if you get your trainer's license, we'll get your horse, and kind of start it that way. That's the greatest thing about being here is you got so many tracks within 2 hours of each other, so you have so many options.
Lake has been in the claiming game for the majority of his career. One horse specifically comes to mind.
Had a horse named Ryan's King that I probably claimed back about 5 or 6 times, and he was a horse, if you run back in 2 or 3 days, he'd run lights out. He can only do it like once a year or once every couple months or whatever, but he would love it.
Lake still has his goals in mind, and the big race he wants to win might surprise most fans.
Breeders' Cup Sprint's always been my dream. Everyone wants the Derby. I want the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and maybe to get back to Dubai one time. My career's always been more sprint type horses and stuff, and I've had a lot of good ones, and for some reason that's just the race I want to win.
Scott Lake has had a Hall of Fame career at Parks. What advice does he have for young and up-and-coming trainers?
It's a rough business. You can't be thin-skinned, and you got to be willing to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.